Hello there, thanks a lot for coming by. PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and boy is this just a fantastic early rock and roll concert poster from the summer of 1956. You know, this is the kind of poster that I'm just so passionate about in this hobby and so drives the hobby from the 1950s. Its layout, its colors, its size, the musicians on here, the songs, just an absolute spectacular piece. Wonderful, wonderful piece. And arguably it contains 3 of the 10 most important rock songs to emerge from the 1950s on the rock and roll tip, and I'll get to that in just a minute. So, oh boy, there's a lot to cover here, but taking it from the top, as you can see up there, this is a tour blank, so everything printed in blue on white there changed from show to show. This one says 2 big shows, 7:30 and 10 p.m., Tuesday, July 31st, and then an abbreviated Oklahoma City. Air-conditioned municipal auditorium, very important there. Admission $2.50, $1.75, and $1.25. On sale at VZ, number 1, and the east side. And then you see where the color portion starts there in the red. Take a look at that. This was the year before the Biggest Show of Stars posters started. So in 56 here, I don't know if it was the same promoters or not, but you do have top record stars of 56. Boy, rock and roll was so young. Gosh, Elvis had only 2 hits so far at the time of this poster, this show. This is before Don't Be Cruel and Hound Dog. This is really early. So let's take a look at the artist. No Elvis on here. He was never on a multi-act package. But on this poster, taking a look here, we've got blue suede shoes, left to right, top to bottom. The song Build Over the Artist. How's that? Over its creator, Carl Perkins. Well, that song was a rock and roll monster, of course, and was a number 2 hit just a few months ago. Then in the top center, you've got Al Hibbler with 3 song titles. How's that? Well, Al was 40 years old. That's a veritable dinosaur on a teenage rock and roll concert poster, but he was a hit maker. You've got He and Unchained Melody were both top 5 pop hits for Al. And Unchained Melody, heavens, boy, that's an evergreen. One of the most recorded, in fact, perhaps the most recorded songs of the 20th century. 1,500 cover versions and counting. And the most famous version done by the Righteous Brothers. And then Al has on there Never Turn Back. That was his current 45 that didn't do too much. Then, rounding off the top row, Frankie Lymon and the Teenagers with 13-year-old Frankie Lymon pictured. He could have easily been Al Hibbler's son at this point. And Why Do Fools Fall in Love? Talk about a massively important and influential, rock and roll hit from the 1950s. Oh my gosh, total American Graffiti evergreen with that song. Certainly a defining song of the doo-wop sound of that era. And then also on there is I Want You to Be My Girl, which was the follow-up single, and quite catchy in its own right. Hard to find Frankie Lymon and the Teenagers on a concert poster. They were together in that configuration for just a year. Frankie went solo the next year in 57, and unfortunately he died of a heroin overdose at age 25. Okay, taking on the second row, led off by another master, Chuck Berry with Roll Over Beethoven. What a monster artist and song, my goodness. That's Chuck's second single after Maybelline, and it was on the charts right now, and the record label itself said Chuck Berry and his combo. Every other record would say Chuck Berry from here on out. Then you've got Kathy Carr with, very prominent placement there. Her only hit, Ivory Tower, is really highlighted, number 2 record that spring. Kind of interesting wording. It says creator of, Ivory Tower, but she didn't write it, unlike, say, a Carl Perkins or Chuck Berry, but that's the wording they chose. Then you've got Shirley and Lee with Feel So Good, number 2 R&B hit the previous summer. Their signature hit, Let the Good Times Roll, was just entering the charts right now, so too late for the poster. Then we get down to the third row, and over to the left there, you've got Bobby Charles, See You Later, Alligator. Well, Bobby's on here as much for a songwriter as he is as a musician because he never charted anything, including his single of See You Later, Alligator on Chess Records in 55. But, as you know, Bill Haley and the Comets had a top 10 hit with it earlier this year. Then on the right side, you've got Della Reese, sort of a left field selection on this poster. I mean, she charted a few records, but and she had one big hit she was going to, but she went on mostly to a big career in television. And then you've got the Cleftones on here with Little Girl of Mine. Well, they formed in high school just the year before. And let's see, they had a couple of top 10 R&B hits, did the Cleftones. And the Spaniels, they were successful on the R&B charts. Good Night, Sweetheart, Good Night was their biggest hit, number 5 R&B. And down at the bottom, check him out, there he is. I've done a separate blog on just him, Illinois Jacquet, and his honking tenor sax. He's the last here on the poster of the 11 famous attractions, as it says. And for Illinois it says, and his big rockin' rhythm band. Now, Illinois did chart a couple of big R&B hits, but he was mostly known as a band leader. Then, way down in the lower right-hand corner, down on the margin, you can barely see it, it does say Murray Poster Printing Company in New York. And hats off to Murray for this really cool, killer early rock and roll concert poster. So this was a tour blank, as I mentioned, and that's why you have the blue area printed up above. And I've actually got photographic representation to show you a couple of other examples of this poster in use. Going to start here with, this is it's a photographic representation of a 14 by 22 inch standard window card from Catholic Youth College in Scranton, Pennsylvania on July 9th. Both of these examples, by the way, are also from July, just like the poster I'm showing you. And then even smaller than a window card, of course, is a paper handbill. And here's a look at one also from July, much blown up, of course, bigger than lifetime size. And here you've got Canton, Ohio on July 17th. But you know what's really funny about just the handbill? Just sort of blows my mind from a layout standpoint. They use different photographs of Carl Perkins and Frankie Lymon on just the handbill. It's weird. Check out this comparison. So the poster's in back, of course, and the handbill representation is in front. And notice how both musicians that I mentioned are looking up on the handbill. Totally different pictures. That's just really surprising from a design standpoint. And you might notice one other difference for Frankie Lymon. Key song title is missing. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? So whether it's the big poster, the small poster, or the handbill, this is a fun, key early piece to have in your rock and roll concert memorabilia collection. I just love it. Just wonderful. Thanks a lot for stopping by today. Have a good day, and we'll see you again for something soon. Bye-bye.